So wonderful that just in a quick conversation, Amanda Loh from the Learning Advantage is joining me now. Thanks for being here today, Amanda.
Oh, thanks, Emma. Good to be with you.
And Amanda, of course, we met when you were we were working together when you were the client and I was the vendor in
Yeah.
the aged care space. And I know we did some really great work there, helping you create an internal learning transfer team. But of course, now you've made the switch and you're now working in the consultancy space, a specialist consultant in age and community care. Do you want to just share for anyone listening what's made you decide to actually go out into the consultancy space and make that move?
Yeah, thanks, Emma. Yeah, it was, I suppose it's been coming for a while, and it's been at the back of my mind. And it's one of those things as you continue to work in organisations, you think, oh, I wonder if. And that's sort of been in my head for a few years now. And having been in the sector in Asian community care for a really long time, probably since, I was 21 and graduated as a nurse. So I really loved doing, the work that I do in Asian community care. But as time's gone by and years in learning and development within organisations, I started to think about what it might feel like and look like if I took a step out and started to do some work that I knew was really meaningful and could make a big difference with on my own and with other people that thought the same way. And being able to have the freedom, I think, to be able to do that with like-minded people in different organisations. And yeah, so I took that step after much consideration and discussion and with a bit of fear and intrepidation as well, all in the mix.
Well,
yeah,
it's exciting to see. One of the things I've loved with collaborating with you in the past is just the the purposefulness and the passion that you've got for making a difference in this area. And when we sort of last caught up down in Melbourne, I was really intrigued to learn more about what you were doing. There were a couple of things that really sparked my interest. One of them is around this piece of the human-centered design of your programs, because I've heard a lot of people talk about that, but I've never really kind of got clear on what that actually means. So I thought, let's put you on camera, get that information of what you mean by that and what sort of difference that's having to your design.
Yeah, so I think the person-centered thinking approach has been around quite some time in Asian community care, but I think where we've seen a gap is that ability to move from a traditional training model into actually embedding these thinking in practice and having tools and other ways of actually getting our staff employees to actually take on some of the principles behind it. And in person-centered thinking, it really does require each individual to, in a sense, understand self and then be able to then care and support for others. As a learning professional, it's always been my concern, I suppose, that many organisations spend a lot of money on actually the training programs, but after that, there's that gap around how do we then transfer that to practice to get competence and confidence in the work they're doing. So that's been really important for me, and being in my own consultancy, I've been able to develop those models that I think will hold. And that will give organisations the best outcomes. And for me, always it goes back to the people we serve, so that those older people or those people living with a disability, their family, loved ones, can we make a difference to their lives through the work that we do? And I think I'm sort of getting there with what that really looks like now through different methodologies. So that's really exciting for me. And been fortunate to work with some really great organisations that have thought, let's do things differently. Let's have a go and step out.
And of course, that's how we first connected, with your kind of absolute commitment to saying, look, I want to deliver behavioural change and get behavioural change. And we know that you're, had the experience with the turning learning into action methodology. It sounds from if what you're tackling it now, that through the the person kind of putting themselves first, that they then become really empowered for the change. Would I be right in that kind of thinking, that they then have more ownership because they get that they're at the center of it?
Yes, I think so. I think that's exactly it. And I think it's that concept that sometimes in our sector we can't change things around government's funding and things like that. But what we're saying is that we can change things moment by moment. We can actually influence how we relate, how we unpack and understand a person's experience and their journey. And by knowing that, we can offer enhanced sort of care and support. And I think sometimes in our sector, people lose a bit of faith that they are able to actually influence. And I think that's also part of having great learning design programs that get people to really explore and empower them to say, actually, I can make a difference here. And teams and leaders. So a lot of our work is in the leadership space as well, in how we get middle level leaders to actually engage with their staff through different techniques to actually help them, support them to make change.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for stopping by today and just sharing from your experience and what you're working on now. Of course, if people want to get in touch with you, we'll have links down below, but my understanding is best way is through your website, The Learning Advantage, and of course they can contact you there. And I think it would be fantastic, and I'm really hoping that we can keep doing some work together as well. So really enjoying that collaboration. Thanks again, Emma, for stepping by today, Amanda, and really wishing you well with The Learning Advantage.
Thanks, Emma.